So I am from Group 2, which consists of Kabayat Patricia, Kabornay Rain, Kaingat Patrick, Kasibon Julian, and Cayetano Erica. So we will elaborate the given laboratory activity, which is Laboratory Activity 2. So given this, the researchers, which is us, will elaborate and explore the structure of the spores in the fungus. So by this, we have downloaded illustrations that we will see in the laboratory activity itself, and we also discussed the ecological and economical value of a fungus.
Let's now move on to the methodology. In Laboratory Activity 2A, the researchers showed an illustration of the structure of different fungal diseases which they got from different resources on the internet, and also gathered some information for further discussion regarding these fungal diseases. The researchers gave credit to the authors of the articles and even electronic modules to further support the given answers.
Good day, I'm Christian Cabornay, and I'm going to discuss about the result in the first part of the activity, which entitled Mycology Structure of Spores in Fungi. The most basic difference between spores lies in their method of initiation, which can be either sexual or asexual. Sexually initiated spores result from a mating between two organisms, whereas asexual spores result from simple internal division. Let's start with Rhizobus stolonifer zygosphere. In sexual reproduction, resistant spherical spores are formed called zygosphere. Zygosphere are thick walls which make them highly resistant to environmental hardships. The word zygosphere comes from the Greek word zygos, which means joining. The zygosphere are the only diploid phase of Rhizobus stolonifer reproduction. They are composed of two suspensor cells, which are the formor hyphae. There is a suspensor cell on either side of a large rough dark brown spore. The suspensor cells are present to provide support. The zygosphere forms two special haploid hyphae of opposite mating types that due to hormones in being in close proximity of each other. In asexual reproduction, special and multi-hyphae called sporangiospore produce sporangia that form in upright fashion. The sporangia at the tips of the upright hyphae develop as bulbous black portions. Branching structure called rhizoids anchor the fungus into the substrate, releasing digestive enzymes and absorbing nutrients for the fungus. When conditions are good, the sporangia, containing numerous haploid spores of which are produced through mitosis, release the spores in the surrounding atmospheres. These spores then may land on moist surface and the life cycle repeats. In terms of Penicillium datum, conidiosphere, it is mycelium gives rise to simple and long conidiospores with branch about 2/3 of the way to the apex in a fashion that is typical of a broom. The conidiospore branches terminate in a cluster of conigenous cells known as the pyalides that feeds off chain of conidia at their apex. Let's jump into Aspergillus niger conidiospore. In a microscopic view of Aspergillus niger reveals that has a smooth colored conidioporous annulum. The conidiospore are protrusions from receptive annulum hyphae. The conidiola has a pure radial and is split into columns. The conidiopore vesicle produces stereo cells known as medullae which support the pyalides on the conidiopores. The conidiopore becomes large at the apex and terminating in a global vesicle which is 30 to 75 UM in diameter. In Candida albicans, Candida albicans is a diploid fungus populating the human body worldwide, inhabiting of everyone's intestinal tract colon and molt with no problems. It is unusual, that is polymorphic, meaning it can grow as a ball is and as filamentous cells. It is popular cases or cause of oral and vaginal infections known as thrush, but is easily treated with common antifungals in people who are not immunocompromised. in Saccharomyces cerevisiae known as budding yeast, used to produce a sexually big-bodied or small daughter cells arising from the mother cells. They will stay attached until disturbed and then break off. Also, which is the main tool in baking and alcohol production and for human and animal health because of its enormous fermentation capacity and its high ethanol tolerance. Is also used as self-fuel to produce commercially important proteins such as toxins or any more. And that's all for results. Thank you.
So I'm going to discuss more about the fungi. So fungi are heterotrophs. They are organisms that require organic carbon. So in nature, they are important saprotrophs. So meaning they are organisms that decompose dead organic matter. Many fungi produce enzymes that decompose woody plant material, thus making them of critical importance for nutrients that recycle in forests. Some types of fungi live in a symbiotic relationship with a photosynthetic algae or bacterium. Others live in symbiosis with plant roots. Fungi are also an important food source for humans and other organisms. They are used in food production as well. Fungi have a cell wall composed primarily of chitin. It is a polymer of glucose. Members of the kingdom of fungi exist as multinucleate filaments, or what we call molds. Molds have long branching cellular structures called hyphae. They grow continuously without complete division of the cytoplasm. Several hyphae may form a visible mat called mycelium. Most hyphae grow along the substrate, but those that produce spores extend upwards to disperse them. Hyphae may or may not have septa that partially separate the cytoplasm. Yeasts. Yeasts are unicellular fungi with an oval or spherical shape that replicate either by uneven or even cell division. So, some fungi, they exhibit thermal dimorphism. They grow as filamentous molds at given room temperature. They grow as yeast at 37 degrees Celsius among the human pathogens, while many can cause opportunistic infections by taking advantage of a weakened host. Some other species of fungi produce toxins that can affect humans when consumed. Some affect humans indirectly, causing disease in crops or through animals that we rely for food. So fungi are often grouped based on the types of spores produced during their sexual reproduction, one of which is zygomycetes. They are formed from zygospores in sexual reproduction and spongiospores in asexual reproduction. So, ascomycetes from ascospores, sexual reproduction, protected spongiospores in asexual production. So, that is all. Thank you.
So to conclude the first part of the laboratory activity 2, the researchers can conclude that every spore in a fungus contains both multicellular microorganisms or molds and unicellular organisms that are oval-shaped, which showcases different morphologies of a fungus. It is seen with the given illustrations that are seen a while ago. So the researchers have been familiar with labeling different fungus types, and you can see that fungi are most likely to free live in water or soil. So in the discussion a while ago, we elaborated that the fungus is essential for decomposition within the ecosystem, and it could break down dead organic matter and etc. So in conclusion, fungus plays a big role in our ecosystem and also plays a big role in the medical field. So that's all for laboratory activity 2A. are done with the first part of our laboratory activity, which is 2A, we will continue with 2B, which focuses on human fungal pathogens. So we are assigned with the 4 kinds of fungal pathogens, which are vaginal candidiasis, histoplasmosis, aspergillosis, and sporotrichosis, and is all associated with causing diseases to humans. So we are also tasked to discuss the following, which is the symptoms, risk and prevention, diagnostic, testing, and treatment of the fungal diseases that boost the immune system. So it is highly encouraged for us to obtain this knowledge so that we gain new information. So lastly, we will elaborate the illustrations of the fungi.
Let's now move on to the methodology. In Laboratory Activity 2B, given the link of readings, the researchers have showcased the definition, symptoms, risk and prevention, treatment, source, and even the diagnostic testing of these fungal diseases. It is to differentiate these diseases and to have an understanding that fungal diseases can be a serious case as well. The researchers gave credit to the authors of the articles and even electronic modules to further support the given answers.
Aspergillosis is an infection caused by Aspergillus. It is a common type of mold that lives outdoors and indoors. Most people breathe Aspergillus spores every day without getting sick. The different types of aspergillosis can cause different symptoms. The symptoms of allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis are similar to asthma symptoms. Protect yourself from the environment. Try to avoid areas with lot of dust, like construction or excavation areas. If you can avoid these areas, wear an N95 respirator. Use the mold that causes aspergillosis is very common both outdoors and indoors. So most people breathe in fungal spores every day. If your healthcare provider suspects that you have Aspergillus infection in your lungs, he or she might collect a sample of fluid from your respiratory system and send it to laboratory. Taking intraconsul may include as a treatment, surgery, and or antifungal medications. Sporotrichosis, also known as rose gardener's disease, is an infection caused by a fungus called Sporotrix. This fungus lives throughout the world in soil and plant matter, such as sphagnum moss, rose bushes, and hay. The symptoms of sporotrichosis depend on where the fungus is growing in the body. Symptoms of disseminated sporotrichosis depend on the body part affected. For example, infection of the joints can cause joint pain that may be confused with rheumatoid arthritis. People who touch plant matter such as sphagnum moss, rose bushes, and hay are most likely to become affected. Sporotrix, the fungus that causes sporotrichosis, lives in the environment, in soil, and on plant matter. Microscopic fungus can enter through the skin through small cuts or scrapes. In rare cases, breathing in fungus can cause pulmonary infection. Your healthcare provider will take a small tissue sample or biopsy of the infected area of the body. The laboratory will usually perform a fungal culture to find out what is causing the infection. Blood tests can help diagnose severe sporotrichosis. Most cases of sporotrichosis only involve the skin or the tissues underneath the skin, but must be treated with prescription and antifungal medicine.
Candidiasis is an infection caused by a yeast called Candida. Candida normally lives inside the body.
in places such as mouth, throat, gut, and vagina, and on skin without causing any problems. Candida can multiply and cause an infection if the environment inside the vagina changes in a way that it encourages its growth. The symptoms of vaginal candidiasis include vaginal itching or soreness, pain during sexual intercourse, pain or discomfort when urinating, abnormal vaginal discharge. Take these medicines only when prescribed and exactly as your healthcare provider tells you, because taking antibiotics can lead you to vaginal candidiasis. Also, wear a cotton underwear that might help you reduce the chances of getting a yeast infection. Sometimes candida can multiply and cause an infection if the environment inside the vagina changes in a way it encourages its growth. This can happen because of hormones, medicines, or changes in the immune system. Healthcare providers usually diagnose vaginal candidiasis by taking a small sample of vaginal discharge to be examined under a microscope. Vaginal candidiasis is usually treated with antifungal medicine. For most infections, the treatment is an antifungal medicine applied inside the vagina or a single dose of fluconazole taken by the mouth. Plasmosis is an infection caused by a fungus called histoplasma. The fungus lives in the environment, particularly in the soil that contains large amounts of bird or bat droppings. Symptoms of histoplasmosis include fever, cough, fatigue, chills, headache, and chest pain. Other people may have flu-like symptoms that usually go away on their own. Anyone can get histoplasmosis if they've been in an area where histoplasma lives in the environment. Histoplasmosis is often associated with activities that disturb soil, particularly soil that contains bird or bat droppings. People who are at higher risk for developing the severe forms of histoplasmosis are people who are weakened immune system, infants, and older people. Avoid doing activities that are known to be associated with getting histoplasmosis. Healthcare providers rely on your medical and travel history. The most common way that healthcare providers test for histoplasmosis is by taking blood sample or a urine sample. However, prescription antifungal medication is needed with severe histoplasmosis in the lungs.
So to conclude the second part of the laboratory activity 2, which is 2B human fungal pathogens, by learning the different areas of a fungal disease, like stated a while ago, we have encountered 4 fungal diseases, its symptoms, prevention, source, the risk, and diagnostic and treatment. So for the next researchers, we suggest that you explore the idea of fungal diseases in tropical countries such as the Philippines.